Bienvenue,
Merci.
Izzard. Merci beaucoup d'être venu.
Pas de problème. Parce que toujours, je dis pas problème, pas problème. Et quelqu'un, une personne française m'a dit, non, non, c'est une personne française.
Oui.
Ici, il est un homme, on dit française.
Ah.
Ah oui, ok. Une personne française m'a dit que je leur dis pas de problème.
Pas de problème.
Parce que normalement, je dis pas de problème, comme en anglais.
But it's said so quickly that it kind of
Oui, mais mon but, est normalement communication, c'est plus important que grammaire, le grammatique. Et c'est pas normal, je pense, mais c'est comme un enfant.
Oui.
Avec les enfants, on dit je voudrais ça, manger maintenant. Et tous les parents disent non, il faut dire dans une phrase exacte, qu'est-ce que tu veux un croissant, ou comme les Américains disent, how do Americans say croissant? They say croissant.
croissant.
God, I can't deal with that. I'm very positive about America, but croissant, I can't quite deal with. Butter croissant? No, I'm gonna vomit.
Okay.
Anyway.
Thank you. So welcome, Izzard. Thank you very much for being here for the 50th anniversary of UEA's.
It was the least I could do.
And you were here 10 years ago when we
Yeah.
awarded you the honorary degree for your promotion of foreign languages, and you were already doing shows in French then.
Yes. What year was that? That was
That was 2003.
2003. I'd done the 2 weeks
That's right.
in France, and I thought I've got to come back and do 3 months. I realised that, and then I took 10 years, maybe even 11, to get back there because I was doing all these other things, and I kept saying. And after 10 years, I suddenly realised this 10 years has gone by. So 2011, I did 3 months, and now.
Can you tell me how your French developed during that intensive 3 months?
It's a little tricky to see it, but it's the most beautiful because I believe deep immersion is the key way. I mean, I did 8 years at school in French and then liked French, and I got an A at O level, A at GCSE level 16, and I think that's equivalent to 4 months deep immersion. So I think 1 month is worth 2 years of schooling, which is dramatic.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is we do a bit in, you do an hour lesson, maybe a 2 hour lesson, and then you walk out and you do the rest of English. It doesn't get in there. So for the 3 months, I was doing 6 gigs a night. So it's an hour's declamation in a way, but initially I was just saying here are the lines, and then gradually I started realizing I've got to improvise. So I started going off and saying, pourquoi est-ce que c'est, I was on the Boulevard de Clichy. Boulevard de Clichy, c'est Boulevard de sex, man, because it's just sex shops. Because sex shop, pharmacy, sex shop, pharmacy. There's a pharmacy every 3 sex shops. So that became my first piece of improvisation, and I could do that every night. And so I noted that people would come down, the people were running the things, and obviously people could not tell you the truth. They could say, oh, your French is very good, but it's not good. But I did realize that people were saying, God, it has improved. And the people were coming to see me after the show in the lodge, in the dressing rooms. I seemed to carry on a conversation after a month or two that was going on and on and on and on, as opposed to, I thought they were doing simpler French to me. And I think I had just gone up, and I must have. Cause
That must feel quite exciting that you're really developing with the language.
it was totally exciting because there is this is the interesting thing about language, because if you say, be positive about language and say everyone should learn, I can't force people to learn all these languages around the world. English, yes, everyone's going for English. Mandarin Chinese, I think it's 200 million, 250 million are learning English because it's so simple on its basic level. We've got rid of the lit and the lat, and we got rid of all the datives and the genitives. But the other way, if you're going into other languages, you can make, it's great for business because you can open up, I'm opening up France, I'm now touring France, which no fucker's done in the history of fuckers. And I think these are proper words to use. And it's 200 years since Battle of Waterloo and 1,000 years since William the Conqueror. And the French are helping me sell the tickets. The French people on television say, well, il faut voir Eddie Izzard, il fait un spectacle at the Olympia, which, Edith Piaf, Jack Brel, David Bowie, Jimi Hendrix, me in French. That blew my mind. And it was sold the last 30 tickets on the night. And I was up there looking at them in my very anal way, OCD way, that's a better way, just looking, and I said, I couldn't see a gap. And we sold the last 30 tickets. And that was French guys working with British guys. And you consider the scratchiness between British and French, or particularly the English and French. And that is beautiful. And so you become another person. I'm on an adventure. And if you look at Woody Allen's Midnight in Paris, and that's his beautiful story of going back to the Belle Epoque and going back to the 20s, and that's Woody saying what he'd like to do, really, through Owen Wilson. But I went and bloody lived it, because that happened. And I was living at the top of Montmartre, and for 3 months I was doing gigs, and then afterwards going to the Dudang and having Sam Shepard. Sam Shepard came to the bloody gig. Sam Shepard, get that with Sam Shepard came to the gig, and because I doorstepped him on a film he was doing there, which was Safe House, Denzel Washington, and I knew he was there, so I just walked up to him and said, I like your stuff, and I met Sean Penn, I know Sean Penn, so he said, oh no, I know you, and he said, I'm coming, and I don't think he understood a word, well, he understood some words of it, but it was bloody beautiful, and what I did was for 3 hours a day, I did French conversation on. I know you're not asking any questions here, but I'm just going on and on. But I was on a boat, a restaurant boat. I made this happen. I found a restaurant boat by the Notre Dame, and with my 2 French teachers, I do French conversation from 2 till 5 every Monday to Friday, and that was a beautiful way of working. Because in the school, if you're in the classroom, it gets really tough. But it's much better if you're talking like a kid, like an adult kid. Live it, and then they say no, that's a conditionnel, c'est comme infinitive, blah, blah, blah. And then you go okay, I've got it. And this phrase you said last night, and that's wrong. And so they'd pick me up on stuff.
I hope they praised you as well when you got things right and use things.
Sometimes my brother's my main teacher, and he's here tonight, and he's. Yeah. And at one point I said un tueur en série. I think I talked about Hitler being un tueur en série, a serial killer. Because I'd already worked this out, and he was very impressed that I got this line, but I'd actually checked it out with someone. I didn't pull it out of my head. Favorite French word? Well, merde, I really like, and I learned how to say it when I was 18, and I couldn't work out because we have swear words are most important. Learn the swear words before anything. And putain, because they say prostitute, and we just would never say, oh, prostitute. I'm gonna go. I think maybe we say, oh, whore. I suppose that would work. But fuck really cuts through. But they haven't got one of those. But merde, you just think M-E-R-D-E. How do you hit the end of that? And I learned how to do this in Antibes when I was sleeping on a bench by the station, and I was watching people playing was it pétanque? Pétanque, and the boule and the husbands husbands and wives get together and do it. And there was a massive argument with 2 husbands going, and everyone had stopped. Everyone was watching. And it was on and on and on and on. And then one of the wives, against the 2 husbands going, just went, merde! And I thought, oh, that's how you say it. You hit the de. And so I learned how to say merde, how to say shit. And the swear words is your way in.
With those swear words, you're now, The Guardian have got you in a vote for being one of the public language champions.
I'm up for a language award, and I wanted to win it. And then I met Larry Lamb, who speaks 3 or 4 languages, and I was talking with him. I thought, oh, he's good. And then Arsène Wenger, and no, because I like it French, and I used to live by Highbury. So, and then Ellen MacArthur, who I've always been impressed by, and so it's a great list to be on. So in the end, I don't really mind, but I would like to win just because I'm. Sorry?
I've got all our students to vote for you.
Oh, that's very kind. I'm just, I'm going to keep retweeting it and try. But, it's the fact that I'm touring France. And also, Arthur Smith is here tonight. Yes. And he's introducing me. Did you know this? You found this out? Because he did the first ever gig in French. So I, unfortunately, came in behind that because I'm always trying to do first and get records. Because otherwise, you've got to throw TVs through windows to get any notice.
The connection is UEA. So he's a UEA graduate.
Is he UEA graduate?
He certainly is. He did
I didn't realise that.
Yeah, he did French. Yeah. So,
UEA, because you should get a link up with UAE, because I think if UAE and UEA link together.
You did a conference paper in UAE once.
Yeah.
Slightly confusing. Yeah.
No, because Arabic's 5th on my list to learn, because I'm doing stand-up now. Germany is hopefully in January, February in Berlin, then Spanish, then Russian, and then Arabic. This is my list.
One more question.
Yeah.
With your, I saw the Meet the Izzards program recently,
right.
Fantastic, and you travelled to lots of fascinating places with that. You've just done a world tour. You've been to Syria for the appeal for the children.
For UNICEF,
yeah. So you have a lot of experience of exploring different cultures, experience of different cultures. Is that something that's quite important to you? Do you think it's a valuable thing to do?
Yeah, I mean, I was born in Yemen. You can be born in Yemen and just cut it out of your life. But I've been born in Yemen, and my parents met in Yemen, and my brother and me were born there. We went back there in 2010, and So I've decided to carve it into my life. You can, and also I lived in Northern Ireland, then South Wales, then Britain. And the thing is, when I ran my marathons, I said this, come up with this line: we are all different, we are all the same. We are British, we are African, we are humanity. I think these were my lines, and it is true that if you look around, just in this room here, just people on the cameras here, we're all completely different. We all look completely different. But if you add it all up, we're exactly the bloody same. And everyone does. And most, the vast 90% of the world are all the same. And going to other countries and finding that out, which is what I do as I'm playing France. And some people are going, this is not funny. But there's kids, I've got them howling because I'm listening back to one of the shows. I was just at the Festival d'Avignon. And the kids get it, well, actually, no, it's not kids. It's people from 9 to 90 with the sort of Python-esque absurdist humor. And absurdist humor doesn't really exist yet. People aren't doing it. They exist, they know it, they love it, but they don't do it much. But what's happened now, I should say, so to answer your question, yes, playing all the other cultures in English or in their indigenous language, great. That is fantastic because it just opens your mind. But they are now coming and doing it in English. The Germans are already doing it in English. The French have just started. Gad Elmaleh, one of the top stand-ups, has done 10 minutes in Montreal. A guy called Yassine Belhous is going to do an hour in Edinburgh next year. And the Russians have started doing it. Igor Mirsin and Anton Borisov. I think Igor's coming and he's already played up at Edinburgh and did set list, which was really funny. So if the Russians are doing it in English, the Germans are doing it in English, the French are doing it in English, and the English are doing it in French and German, the time has changed. It is the third millennium. And the human beings are winning, and not the extremists who are motherfuckers.
You're going to do strict tout en français for us. Really? I'm going to do Madame in les bonnes. So for you, merde pour le spectacle.
Merci, and chapeau. Aussi. It's great that they say chapeau as well.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Very much.
No problem. Just bleep all the swear words out.